I still remember the exact moment my stomach dropped. It was a Tuesday morning, quiet, ordinary, the kind of morning where nothing dramatic is supposed to happen. I had just come back inside after checking the fence line on my property, something I did every couple of weeks, when I noticed a thick envelope sticking out of my mailbox. It wasn't a bill. It wasn't junk mail. It had my full name printed in bold, official-looking font. And right underneath it, in red capital letters, were the words, "Final notice, HOA compliance required." I laughed at first. Actually laughed. Because there was only one problem with that letter. I didn't live in an HOA. Never had. Never would. I bought my land specifically to avoid HOAs. I carried the envelope inside, tossed it onto the kitchen counter, and opened it casually, still half smiling, expecting some kind of mistake. But the smile disappeared within seconds. The letter claimed that I had been non-compliant with HOA regulations for 5 consecutive years. It listed violations: unauthorized fencing, improper landscaping, failure to attend mandatory HOA meetings, non-payment of HOA dues totaling $18,450. I stared at the paper. Then I read it again. Then again. My heart started pounding, because the letter didn't just demand payment. It threatened liens, legal action, and forced compliance. And at the bottom, a signature. President, Meadow Creek Estates HOA, Karen W. That's when disbelief hit me. Meadow Creek Estates was the suburban development next to my land. Not on my land. Not part of my land. Next to it. I had owned my property for over a decade. Before Meadow Creek even existed, my land was already surveyed, registered, and clearly marked. Yet according to this woman, this HOA president, I had apparently been part of her HOA for 5 years without knowing it. I folded the letter slowly, and that's when I noticed something even worse. Through my kitchen window I could see her, standing on my land, watering her lawn. Let me explain something first. My property is large, several acres, and a portion of it borders Meadow Creek Estates. When the developers built that neighborhood years ago, they installed temporary fencing and told me they'd finalize boundaries later. They never did, and honestly, I didn't think much of it. Until that morning. I walked outside, heart pounding, and headed straight toward the back section of my land, the part closest to the HOA. What I saw made my blood run cold. Perfectly trimmed grass, fresh flower beds, a shed, a patio set, all of it sitting comfortably on land I paid for. And standing right in the middle of it was Karen. Middle-aged, blonde, sunglasses, clipboard in hand. She looked at me like I was trespassing. "Excuse me?" she snapped. "You can't be back here." I felt my jaw drop. "I own this land," I said slowly. "You're on my property." She laughed. A short, dismissive laugh. "No, sweetie," she said. "This is HOA common use space. We've maintained it for years." That's when the shock turned into anger. I pulled out my phone and opened the county land records, something I had saved specifically for moments like this. Her smile faded, barely. "Those records are outdated," she said. "Our HOA survey supersedes them." That's when I realized something terrifying. She wasn't confused. She was confident. For 5 years, this woman had used my land, maintained it, expanded onto it, and convinced herself it belonged to her HOA. And now, she wanted me to pay her for it. Over the next week, the harassment escalated. HOA violation notices taped to my fence, emails, phone calls, threats. Karen showed up at my driveway with 2 board members and a sheriff's deputy. She told the deputy I was illegally occupying HOA-managed land. The deputy looked uncomfortable. He asked for documents. I handed him my deed. Karen handed him her clipboard. And that's when something incredible happened. The deputy looked at Karen and said, "Ma'am, this land isn't yours." Her face went red. She started yelling. About authority, about rules, about respect. She demanded I be arrested. Instead, the deputy warned her for trespassing. I thought that would end it. I was wrong. Karen sued me, not the other way around. She claimed adverse possession, saying that because her HOA used the land for 5 years, it now legally belonged to them. What she didn't know? I had proof. Photos, surveys, emails, developer documents, and the original contract that showed her HOA knowingly expanded onto my land. The judge didn't even hide his disbelief. When Karen finished her dramatic speech, the judge asked one question. "Why didn't you purchase the land?" Silence. The ruling took 10 minutes. Karen lost, badly. She was ordered to vacate immediately, pay back rent, restore the land, cover my legal fees, and then the judge added something extra, a warning. If she ever trespassed again, criminal charges would follow. The HOA lost its president. Karen moved. The neighborhood changed its bylaws. And I reclaimed every inch of my land. I built a fence, a sign, and a reminder that entitlement doesn't override ownership. Because some people don't learn until reality hits them in the face. And when it does, it hits hard.